Hi everyone, Leah here from EurekaCrystalBeads.com with a product spotlight video for you. Before I get started, go take a look at our channel, and if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and notification bell, and you'll always know when we're posting new content. So today's product spotlight is going to be on FireLine and WildFire. How are they similar? How are they different? So first of all, Eureka Crystal Beads has always carried FireLine in various sizes, various spool sizes as well, and the few colors that it does come in. We are now carrying WildFire because we did hear all of your suggestions and we listened. And the great thing about WildFire is it does come in other colors, but I'll get to that in just a second. So as far as who makes them, we have FireLine, which came first. And FireLine is manufactured by Berkeley, which is a fishing line company. It's a fishing company. But Beadsmith really saw how wonderful this type of braided bead thread would be for beadwork. So they jumped on that bandwagon, and now they are part of the marketing campaign for FireLine. So you can see it comes under the Beadsmith heading, but it's manufactured by Berkeley. Then you have WildFire, which is a product of Beadalon and is also manufactured by Beadalon, and it came after FireLine. And the good thing about coming after is that WildFire did improve upon a few things that are sometimes sources of contention about FireLine. So let's talk about color first of all. With FireLine, we have sort of standard two colors. We have smoke and we have crystal. They do now have a satin black, and it is darker than the smoke, and it is a permanent finish color. And what that means is that that satin black finish isn't going to be rubbing off on your hands or your wax, because one of the downsides of the smoke color is that it does sometimes rub off on your fingers as you're using it. Not a lot. And as you can see here, you can see that smoke color has come right off in my beater's wax. So if you wax your FireLine and you use the smoke, then I'm sure you have noticed this. Now, the nice thing is that there are ways that you can help with that. So first of all, you can run this through, you can take the piece of FireLine that you're going to be using and you can run it through a damp paper towel, and you will see some of the excess come off. As you can see, it comes off on my beater's wax, which is also why, pro tip, don't run your crystal FireLine through the area of your wax where you've used your smoke FireLine. Have a little separate section for that because it will come off on your crystal FireLine. But the other thing is that this is lighter than the black satin. So that is an advantage of using this over the black satin with the permanent color. The black satin is much darker, so that really does limit you to much darker beads. The smoke is actually quite versatile. I probably use the smoke color, I would say 75% of the time. And then it's only when I get to truly light and bright colors that I move over to the crystal. Now, with WildFire, these are the two that are sort of the most equivalent in color. We have their white and we have their black color, which isn't quite as black as the black satin, but it is a little bit darker than FireLine's smoke. Now, the good thing about the WildFire is these are more color fast, so you're not going to have that same problem of the color rubbing off on your fingers or rubbing off on your wax. And the other good thing about the coloring with WildFire is that they have more colors. So for example, they have a gray. So actually we can make a nice little gradient here with the FireLine, and you have kind of every color you could like. But they do have a nice light gray color. So when this one's a bit too dark and crystal's a bit too light, they have a great little neutral gray. A lot of people love this green, which might be showing up on camera a bit brighter than it actually is in person. It's actually a really nice sort of very neutral, muted green. It surprisingly blends in with quite a bit. And I have heard from multiple beaders that this is the one they use about 75% of the time versus me using my smoke FireLine. It also comes in a blue. They also have it in a bright red. I apologize, I don't have that one right here to show on camera, but it also does come in a bright red. So these give you a little bit of a closer match to the beadwork that you're going to be using. Now, because these are coated braided nylon threads, you're not really able to dye them like you could a nylon, like an uncoated nylon thread or a cotton. But one thing I will tell you that you can do, if you want another little tip, is if you're anything like me, you have a whole boatload of Sharpies laying around, and you can use some Sharpie permanent marker on your crystal FireLine or on a lighter colored WildFire. And while it doesn't stay completely as intense in color as the Sharpie marker ink is, it does at least tint it. So if you're really in a pinch and you want something that's going to match very well, and you're using a bead stitch in particular that maybe does have some visible thread, being able to tint your crystal or your crystal FireLine or your white WildFire with a Sharpie marker might help you just in a pinch let it blend in just a little bit more. Okay, so now let's talk about sizing. Now, one of the differences you are going to find with FireLine versus WildFire is that spools of FireLine are going to list several different measurements. Now, they will list poundage because, again, this is a fishing line first and foremost, but they will also list the inch diameter. So in this case, it is the 0.006 inch diameter, which is FireLine's 6 pound. If you look at the WildFire, you do not see a poundage listed here, and that's because this one was created to be a beading thread. It was not created to be in the fishing community, and so they only have the diameter listed because at the end of the day, it is the diameter that is more important than poundage because the diameter is how thick the thread is that you're working with, and that is what tells you how many passes you're going to be able to make through a bead. So that's really the crucial part here. Poundage has to do with how many pounds of force it would take to break the line. So that is important when you're fishing. That is less important when you are peyote stitching. I know for me, it is a habit to try to break referring to poundage because I have always only used FireLine. Other FireLine users I know, we always just know that the one we use most of the time is the 6 pound. And when we need something that's a bit thinner, we go to 4 pound and then we go up to 8 or 10 pound for heavier duty work. And so that is just sort of in our vernacular to use poundage because we all know what FireLine diameter we're talking about in the FireLine language when it comes to poundage. But it is important to get to know that inch diameter language as well because you will not see poundage on WildFire. So if you want to know what the WildFire equivalent is to the poundage or the diameter that you've been using in FireLine, look for that inch diameter here. So the 6 pound here or the 0.006 inch diameter, here you see 0.006 inch diameter. So these two would be equivalent in their diameter. Now, to give you an idea, 0.005 diameter, if you see that here, that's the equivalent of FireLine's 4 pound. If you see 0.007 here, that is the equivalent to FireLine's 8 pound. And if you see 0.008 here, or say like you do right here, 0.008, that is the equivalent. Again, if you're having a hard time breaking the FireLine language, the 0.008 is the equivalent of 10 pound FireLine. But the more you can get used to looking at the diameter, the better off you're going to be because that is the part that's most crucial to us beaders, is that diameter. But again, I understand because I myself have a hard time breaking out of that poundage language. But again, if you're looking for that equivalent, if you're looking to try out WildFire and you know you do most of your beadwork in a 6 pound FireLine, look for that diameter, which will be on the spool, and then find that diameter on the WildFire, and that's where you're going to find your equivalent. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about how they feel. So I am newer to using WildFire, and I have always historically used FireLine. I don't know about you, but I am a creature of habit, and I am very resistant to change. But there are definitely some benefits to WildFire over FireLine, and vice versa. And I would definitely say give both an equal try if you've used only one and not the other. I think they definitely both have some benefits. So one of the things I really like about FireLine is that I feel like when I need to have nice tight tension and I want to pull my FireLine, I can really grab hold of it. It doesn't seem to be slippery in my hands. Now, I don't mean to say that it has a waxiness to it, but I seem to be able to just get a good grip on it. When I do that with the equivalent in size of the WildFire, I do feel like it's a little bit more slippery. I can't grab a hold of it as well. And to me, it is noticeable. But what is a con to me might be a plus for someone else because someone else may not like that more tactile feeling on the FireLine and they may enjoy working with much more a line that feels more supple and more smooth. So really, it's personal preference. Again, I truly implore you to give both of them a try. You're going to love the colors in WildFire. You may love the feel of FireLine. Again, give it a shot. We now carry both, so I'm excited to hear in the comments below which one you like. Have you tried one over the other? Have you tried one and then tried the other and loved one dramatically more? What did you love more? What did you dislike? Comment below, let us know. We'd love to see some discussion get going. We'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, guys, head on over to EurekaCrystalBeads.com so we can help you out with any of your braidable beaded thread needs, and we will see you next time.